Okay, we're back with another video in the Excel course in the maps section. This one's going to be all about mazes, and this kind of builds from the last video we did on distances. There's more to come, so subscribe if you're interested. So when we think of a maze, this is generally what pops into mind. There's a start and an end, and you need to find a path there without going through walls. And in Excel, when we talk about a maze, it could mean this, but it could be a bit broader. So it could look like this, and this is an example I'm going to use today, where the black is kind of the walls. Or it could look like this. So this doesn't look like a maze in the traditional sense, but in Excel, when we say a maze, what we really mean is a map where you need to navigate from a start to an end, but there are certain things you're not allowed to touch or walk on. So in this example, which we'll come to, you can't walk on water, and also you can't go in the range of bears. So these bears have, a certain range that they can see you in, so you don't want to go in that range. So as I said, this builds from the last video, and in the last video we talked about calculating the distance from this green cell to the yellow cell. If we just ignore these black walls for now, we know that if you can move up, down, left, right, then this purple path is kind of the one you would take. And if you could move up, down, left, right, and all the diagonals, this red path would be your most direct one. But now that we have these walls in the way, we need a new method of calculating distance. So ignore these blue cells for now. I'm going to introduce those later. But let's just think about the logic of how we could calculate the distance of going from green to yellow. So the distance of going to that green is 0. And then to go anywhere around it is going to be 1. We can't walk on this wall, so this will not be 2 like it would in our other example, but everything around this will be 2, and so on and so on. So we really want a formula that will do this across the entirety of the map. And it turns out we can do that. So let's just talk about the min formula for a minute. If I take these numbers, I've got a gap here, I've got some letters. If I just do equals the minimum of these numbers, obviously we're going to get 1. What do you think is going to happen if I include this blank cell? So Excel normally treats these as zeros, but with the min formula, it will still ignore it and only count the numbers. If I include letters, now what do you think will happen? So actually, it handles it just fine and it ignores the letters as well. So what this means is we can use that, designate our start cell as a distance of 0, and then say that the next cell is the minimum. And if we can only move up, down, left, right, it would be the minimum of the cell above us, the cell below us, the cell to the right of us, and the cell to the left of us. So if I said the minimum of those, obviously that's going to give us a 0, and then we can just plus 1 to it on the outside. If I now changed our 0 cell to a 5, for example, well now our cell here changes to a 3 because it's a minimum of the cells around it, which is now 2 plus 1. So what we can do is use this min formula across the entire map, so minimum of the 4 cells around plus 1. So let's just copy that over a bunch of cells for a second. So I'm going to go from here, I'm going to control click the 0 because I don't want to paste it there, Control Alt V, press F to copy formulas only, and we get this error. So there are one or more circular references where a formula refers to itself. So what's happening here is one cell is looking at the 4 around it, but those 4 around it are also looking at the center cell. So we have kind of a back and forth between cells here. So what you need to do is come down to your options here, go to formulas and enable iterative calculation. So what this will do is it will allow the cells to look to each other up to a certain number of times before it will stop. So at the minute that's 100, we could specify 1,000 or whatever number we want. So let's just keep it at 100 for now. And what you'll see is we get our nice distance spilled out. So we basically want to do this across the whole map, and then we'll be able to find our distance from this green cell to anywhere on the map. So the end cell could actually change wherever we want, and all we need to do is pick out what number is in that cell, and it will tell us the distance. Now there's a couple of watch outs on this. Normally in map cases you'll be given a row and column number. So here's a live one, and again we're given the row numbers and the column letters. So we need to be careful in this min calculation we don't capture those. So I normally just delete those out at the start of a case, and then I can copy this formula kind of to all these cells. What I normally do to copy this quickly when there's lots of stuff on the map is to first label where I can't walk, and I'll do that normally with an X or something like that. So if I choose this format, I can change all of those to an X, replace all of those, and we see we get the walls labeled as X. Now I can copy one of my formulas, Control H again, let's clear find format, and I just want to find all of the blanks within this area. So if I highlight this area, press find all, then I can press Control A to highlight them all, close this, and I'll get all of the blanks in my area. Control Alt V, copy the formulas only, and it will copy it to all of those blank cells. So now I can see the distance to my end cell was 81 steps. Now this works because I have kind of a root static number across my whole circular reference map that's iterating on itself a bunch of times. A couple of other cool things with this method is if I put a 0 in any other cell, the formulas will also feed off of that. So I can set multiple start points here, and the distances will all update. One thing I would recommend strongly is to make sure you have what we call a circuit breaker. So if I just give you an example here, if I plus a t to this will result in an error because I'm trying to plus a number to a letter. And that error is going to propagate across my entire map because the cells across from it are looking for the min, and if you put an error into a min calculation, that itself will error out. So we end up getting this whole kind of mess of errors. And even if you then try and overwrite some of these values, so if I put a 0 in this cell, it's just not going to fix it, and it becomes a real pain to fix. So I'm pressing Ctrl Z now, and you can see that nothing is actually working. All these errors are iterating among themselves, even though I have this static 0, and now none of these cells have an error in. So what we tend to do is write what's called a circuit breaker. And this is kind of just an insurance plan for your map, but it almost always happens that you get these errors. So if I put a 1, what we can do to our formula now is to say if the circuit breaker is on, give me a blank, otherwise do our iteration. And remember to always lock that circuit breaker cell. So now I'm going to copy that formula to our whole map. I'll change the X's again manually, like so. Now if I turn my circuit breaker off, we get errors because I haven't set a start cell, but it's very easy if I now put a 0 in the start cell, that it will work. So if I ever get those errors, I can just turn it off and on, and we'll be working again. So that's up, down, left, right. Now let's talk about the other distances we calculated in the last video. So if you can go diagonally as well, then you will want your minimum to include all of the cells around you. So it's going to be these three, and then the 2 left and right. So that, if I now copy to the whole map, so let's copy that formula across the whole thing again, and then change our black cells to an X. Forgot to set my start cell, so 0 out, and there we go. So now if we can move diagonally, the distance is 54 instead. So it's a lot shorter, as you can imagine. And it looks like actually going below the wall is quicker because we have a 16 here versus a 21 up here. So the other types of distance we spoke about last time were straight line. That doesn't apply here because straight line ignores objects. And we also talked about when a map is not scaled. So let's say in this example that going up cost 2 steps instead of 1. Well, if you're going up, then anywhere coming from down, you're going to have to plus a 2. So we can say minimum of that plus 2. Then it's going to be everything else around the cell plus 1. So we can just do this individually. This plus 1, this plus 1, this plus 1, and this plus 1. So you see going up cost a 2 there. However, you need to be careful here because, as you can see, the top cell has gone to a 1. And that's because when we do this inside with all these individual calculations, it does actually add a 1 to these blanks and now treat them as numbers. So we'd need to put a big number around the map, for example 1000. We could box the map in with 1000 there, and then we could apply this to the rest of our cells. However, this often bugs out and you have to do this circuit breaker thing. It can be very fiddly, but let's just try it for a second and turn on. Let's put a border around the full map and 1000. And that is just any number that's going to be bigger than the distances we calculate in our map. We also need to do the same thing for these X's, because if we run into these X's with the formula and plus a number on, it's going to turn into an error out. So let's just turn those X's to 1000 for a second. There we go. And then we hopefully can propagate that formula to the full map, except the black cells. Let's give it a go. Sometimes this bugs out. Let's change the black cells to 1000 again, like so. And there we go. So now we have kind of a non-scaled map where going up costs 2, but everything else costs 1. So we start to get some strange distances across the map. So that's how you'd do it if it was non-scaled. Let's just go back to our standard diagonal distance for a second. And let's talk about one more concept which is a little bit more advanced. So I'm now going to pretend that this blue cell is a teleporter, so you can go between it. So to do that, now that we have this method, all I actually need to do is in this minimum calculation, I need to add in that it's also going to be the minimum of whatever it cost to get to that cell. And in this cell, I need to do the same, so I need to do the minimum of what it cost to get to that cell. And now, you'll see we can go 0 to this, and then we teleport 14 to 15 to this teleporter, and then come to our final cell. So once you've built the map, you can kind of do this piecemeal. If your start location changes, you have to make this 0 dynamic. So you need to change the formula to say, you know, if our circuit breaker is blank, let's just set up a start cell here. So at the minute we're on H5, so let's do H5. We'd have to do something like, if circuit breaker's on, give us blank. Otherwise, if the address of our cell, so if we say address of row, that's the row we're in, column, that's the column we're in, we want a non-absolute reference. We have an extra bracket there. So if the address of where we are equals this, and let's lock it, then give us 0, otherwise give us that stuff. So let's now copy that to the entire map like so. Remove our walls again, so let's put those as an X. Then we get back to our diagonal distance, but we have a flexible start cell. So if we now put the start cell as V14, we can alternate the start to wherever we want on this map. We also would have to turn the teleporter back on. So let's add in this cell to our minimum there, and in this teleporter, let's add in this cell. So now we have a really flexible maze kind of distance calculator on a map that avoids obstacles. Alternatively to having obstacles, you could also just delete a section of the map out. So if I was just to delete this section out, all of the formulas will still actually work, and they'll just avoid these things as if they were kind of the walls. So you don't have to technically write an X in all these cells, you could just keep them blank and it would work just fine. That's useful to know because when you're traversing kind of an individual path, you just need to remember to paste your formula, this circular reference type formula, to the path instead of all the other cells. It's a bit quicker. So that's kind of everything you need to know. Let's now try it on a real question. So this was the final question on a case called Bear Island. The idea is that we have this plain cell and a bunch of people having a picnic in these locations. The bears get really angry and people need to flee the island and get to the plain. However, they can't go in the range of the bears. So these black bears have a range of 5 around them. So if we just go like this, we could black that out to make sure we don't go on it. And then let's copy that to all of these black bears here. The white ones also had that range, so we can just copy again, doesn't matter. And then the yellow ones only had a range of 3, so that's like that. So let's copy that and just paste that like so. So that's all the bears marked out on the map. You also couldn't walk on the water, but that's fine. So we'll just leave our map like that for now, delete everything out. We know this is 0, that's our starting cell. So we can say minimum of everything around us. We could walk diagonally in this question. So let's grab everything around us and do a +1. Let's then copy that to the whole map, like so. I'm going to hold Control and click so I don't copy over our 0 cell and do formulas. So now we have the distance to everywhere on our map. However, I also pasted it in these black cells, so let's just remove that like this, and we could replace those with an X or replace them with nothing. I'll just replace with an X for now. Couldn't find them because they're probably slightly different format. Let's do that and make sure we get the ones that have a different font color. There we go. We also accidentally got all the water here, so we need to remove the water. So this is where it can get a little bit fiddly, but let's change the water to be an X as well. So there we go. Now there's one thing you'll notice, and we haven't got a path here. Now if I did put a path there, I'm going to get this whole error thing. And the reason is, this is trying to look past the bounds of the map. If I now Control Z, I've got the whole error thing going on again. So let's do a circuit breaker. I know this is annoying, but it's always best to do that first. And I just want to highlight that point. So if circuit breaker's on, let's press F4 to lock it, then give me a blank, otherwise give me that stuff. And then in these kind of sandy cells here at the edge, I just want to get rid of the refs, because that's where, you know, we're outside the bounds of Excel and the locations don't actually exist. So if I do that and drag it down, then we should have every location covered. So let's turn circuit breakers off, let's turn circuit breakers on. We haven't got a set start location, so now we have. And let's turn all the water to an X, like so. Let's turn all of the black cells to an X, or a blank, doesn't matter. There we go. And the ones with a different font color, I could leave them, but it doesn't matter. And now all we need to do is say equals indirect of this cell. And that should give us the right answers, because the distance is filled in the cell, we know the distance to the plane, and that's all the right answers. So the first time you see these questions, they can be very tricky, but this is how you do them. One more thing I didn't mention is you may be restricted in the directions you can walk. You may only be able to go, up, down, and a couple of diagonals. If that's the case, I should put a 0 there for a second, then you can change this to only pull from the cells you're able to walk from. So if we can go up, we would include this cell. If we can go down, we would include this cell. If we can go diagonally down left, we would choose this cell. If they were the only 3 directions we could walk, we'd only include those and do a +1 to that. So that's how you restrict directions. So I think this is quite a crucial video concept to learn about maps. Hopefully I explained it clearly enough. Let me know if not, and I'm happy to answer questions in the comments. There'll only be one more map video about arrows, where you are kind of given directions. After that, we'll do some example solves, and then it's into kind of the programming chapter. So subscribe if you want to see more, and hopefully I'll see you next time.